How's your day been?
Okay. Good. Thanks. Before I join, well, so far here it's morning, early morning, so it's not much to tell. I just had breakfast and came to work.
Um, is this a busy
Yes,
time of year for you
Italy.
with work, family, etc.?
Just dotted list of what I did. I started this job in 2015, so it's 10 years now, and it was different market, different conditions. Especially in Italy, it was just the first year the Airbnb came here as well, and yeah, a lot less awareness about the people. It was a bit harder to find clients. Most of the property back then, I had to rent them out and use them to then rent to tourists, and it was not so easy as we are in Italy, and bureaucracy is really a big part of every job, and there are no clear laws. There are conflicting laws between the state and the region, and so no guidance on what is allowed or not. But anyway, I tried to sort it out and started through about 30 properties, and it was a part-time job for me. I was doing another job as the first one, and then I started this as a side job. Then 2017, I decided to structure it a bit more and opened a physical desk for having a reception on site. I was renting bicycles, I was selling local produce, so it was like a shop with a lot of services, luggage depot, and also organizing tours. That started, and after 1 year, the
Oh,
landlord went into bankruptcy, and so I had to leave everything. Um, so there was not so not so easy as I just everything was just starting to go, and I was sub-renting for a bigger company that had the whole building. It was like 5,000 square meters, just the ground floor. So they didn't use one area that I rented from them, but they closed the business, and I had 2 months to pack everything and leave. Um, and I found something else, but there was not enough space to do all the activities I was doing before, especially since I was just in the city center in front of the train station. And so little by little, starting again, doing just the property management part. And yeah, then we know what happened afterwards. COVID came, and then basically starting anew. This time we had many competitors, sorry, that were propping up, and some of them had also good budgets to jump on this activity. What I mean by good budget is, I think this sector is characterized by businesses that have a low amount of capital. As if you have a big amount of capital, you build yourself a hotel or a condo, and you do the condo, you take a bigger building. As it's economically more feasible, it gives better returns. You don't have all the logistics, it's easier to run. It's not a coincidence that before everything was hotels or managed buildings. But if you don't have enough capital to start with, it could be something to bootstrap and just start the business this way. And what came out just before COVID and after is though that this kind of building business is a bit precarious, as Once the hotels start lowering the prices, you get squeezed out of the market. So I don't know how much you've spoken about this, but the hotels
Holiday
have
properties,
lower
yeah.
running costs than scattered properties. They have a lot less logistics, easier to find people to work in a hotel. We had a lot of trouble finding people for doing cleaning, as most of them rather prefer to have a job in the same building, not having to go from one place to another, getting cold in the winter and hot in the summer. But still, we are here now. We are like the biggest property management company in town. After COVID, we had almost to start anew, as a lot of property we had to let go, and they went on longer rental,
That's a big number.
COVID-related rentals. And now we manage about 100 properties in Trieste, and it's a big. It
Yeah,
started to become a big
yeah.
number. Yeah, it's at a point where it starts to make sense to be like a company doing this, because well, it depends a lot on the market, right? And it's not that 100 properties in a city like Trieste, like
Yeah.
100 properties in a big city like I don't know, to make some examples, America could be New York or any major capital city of the state. Um, uh, Here the prices are lower, so having 100 properties here could be like having 30 properties in a big city or like Milan and Rome, money wise. Although that is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. We have six people in the office just managing uh, day-to-day activities, uh, cleaning, maintenance, um, issues with the guests. Then we have the cleaning team, we have the maintenance team.
When you initially sort of get a hold of a property from a landlord, etc., how
Um,
does that process go? Like, does it is it a lot of word of mouth from you, or do you do a lot of outreach, etc.?
yeah, uh, no, given that we are the biggest in town, basically almost a lot of people come to us. It's We do some advertisement, of course, like Google ads, something on Instagram, something on Facebook, but not aggressive, as the market here is not so high, let's say, for touristic rentals. So um, I see a lot of advertisement about other smaller property management companies that they kind of brag how much money you can get out of property. But actually here, and I think in a lot of other places, you get the same as a regular rental if you factor in the costs.
Okay, so in terms of like a working day, what does that look like for you?
Me, well, I start at 9 a.m. That's the office time. I just have first thing are the emails, just check everything. Then have a little chat in the office, see what's going on, if anybody needs some help on any issues, and then that's a little bit of preparing for next year, deciding where to invest. Um, Here in Italy, it's also a big part, just the taxation part, as taxation on businesses is high. So really to adjust your expenses and make the investments before the taxation is calculated, it's a big part of the business. If you're not careful, like you get as a sole up to 60%. As a company, you get taxed 26%, plus everything. Like if you want to get money out, you get taxed again about 40%. So it's yeah, dealing with taxes. Yeah, yeah, it's really difficult. It's really difficult to accumulate capital. So um, we and that's also it could be different markets have different rules, but in Italy it's not really easy to go about making business, especially apart from the taxation. That if it's the same for everybody, then you can kind of work it out. But it's the rules. At the moment, here we can open a holiday home in 6 different ways. Um, because there are different laws, some, as I was saying, national, some regional, and they kind of mangle and intersect in certain areas. And so the municipality has this web form where you can start 6 different kind of touristic rental, and they all differ a little, have differences, different taxation, and every property you should just figure out which one is the best for who is doing letting the building, as there are different taxations, different obligations, and features. Some of them you can rent maximum 30 days, some other up to 5 months. Some you can rent them even if you have the residency in the building. Some you are obliged not to have the residency, and also this is just as a private. Then if you start a business, there are other ways you can start the economic activity of the property. But being more on what are the steps, and apart from that, then I'm just taking care of the more urgent issues. I check out, make plans for next year, see how much who I need to hire. Right now, I'm in talks with. I use Price Labs for pricing. I don't know, maybe you've heard that. For automating the pricing system, it doesn't really automate. You really to be there and check it at least twice a week. And there are some companies now that start to offer to do the manual part. And I have a meeting with them next week. I cross-test products. I did A/B testing with Price Labs, with other softwares, and I have to be like a journal of every new change there is in the legislative change. Just to make an example, in the last year, so in Italy, there is the anti-terror law that says basically that you have to check that the person coming in the apartment is the same, that is actually the same. So you need to check their ID when they come.
Okay.
It's not. It says you need to check, and it has a Latin formula for it that can mean that you need to be there or not. And last year, the Ministry of the Interior sent a communication that you need to be in person. And so this created a big upheaval, because if you need to be there, especially on small properties, they become economically a loss. I don't know if you've been into this sector, but it's really hard, especially in Europe, for people to be on time. So they say, I'm going to be there at 6, and then they come at 9, and they say, oh, look, I just had dinner before, and you wait for that like 3 hours at the property. So if it's a villa, it's feasible, but if it's a regular apartment, it's a mess. Also because you cannot schedule more appointments, and then everybody's unhappy because either you wait for one and the other one arrives before, and like this. And after 6 months, there is a court that said that this communication was not lawful. So said that basically it was going back to how it was before. That was kind of tolerated to do not in person, but you can get the pictures. And it's a big debate in Italy if you have to have a picture with the guest with the document in the same picture, if you can make a video call or something like that. Besides, we are organized with a reception, so we are more like a centralized system, so all the guests come to our reception. But after, and 2 days ago, it changed again. There was another court, a higher court, that said that the lower court didn't do right, and so
Okay.
it is again valid that you need to be in person. And I can let you imagine, like if you, especially if you plan ahead, um, it gets all messed up because you can get a certain commission to do certain job, but if the job changes, you will need to contact all the owners and say, look, the rules have changed again, and we need to change the contract. And some of them will say, no, this is not good. And so that's a bit of uncertainty. And another thing that just happened, I got the notification here. In Italy, you have the labor unions. Basically, they make a contract that is valid in a certain sector of activities. So basically, there are like more than 2,000 different work contracts in Italy, and you need to pick the one that's right for your business. And they have an expiration date. And so for this, in this instance, you have like it was a 3 years expiration date, and it took them another 3 years just to make the new contract. So we were working with an expired contract, and it's quite common, as they take a lot of time to do it. And now in the new
Okay.
agreement, they said that the new clauses are valid backwards. So basically, I still have to see what's the reply. But if they say, I don't know, the minimum wage for this contract is I don't know, 7, 10, or whatever euros an hour, and they can say, okay, now you have to give to the people that were working these 3 years. You have to give them this money, and this again, it's a mess because you cannot. Yeah, but you cannot really prepare for it. It's just an unknown, and especially for first times, for people that just enter the workforce, so they start and they become entrepreneurs. It's really hard to know about these things, and also to prepare in time. Like, let's say you wanted to get a building or something, so you do a really good price, you're almost at cost, and then something like this comes and hits you, and then that means the last 2 years you are not profitable. Yeah, right. So, and yeah, but the taxes, you can factor them in. You know already if they don't change. But
Oh,
there are also things that change and become backwards. Yeah, and this doesn't make sense to me. I think in other countries would be much better. Um, Even if I know in a lot of places they started to put restrictions, and which I think doesn't make much sense. Um, in Italy, a lot of newspapers are portraying the holiday rentals as the cause of home unaffordability.
That's
I can understand like a small place where there's a lot of tourism, right? So the locals get squashed out. But in a country like Italy or any other country in Europe, where the population is declining, um, you have a lot of unused homes. And here it's more like an issue of there's a really high, um, well, not high, but long time to get somebody evicted from a house. In Italy, it takes about 1.5 years, 1 year and a half. So if you rent to somebody that doesn't pay, it takes you about 1 year and a half to get the police to come and get him out. So yeah, and that's why a lot of people want to do the touristic uh, market because they don't have this liability on them. Um, and yeah, so this would change a lot. I think just if you either ease this thing like that, you can make somebody get evicted after 2 months not paying or something like that. Or if you don't want to go that direction because maybe socially unacceptable, you could just make high tax on unused properties. Now we have here in Italy a lot of unused property. Well, in this city where I'm operating, the city used to have 270,000 people, and now it has 200,000. So there's about 70,000 uh, people less than before.
Eric, what sort of shifts are you seeing in your industry right now, and how would you say that's impacting your growth as a business?
Well, the main shift is awareness. People have been exposed to touristic rental for a long time. There's still a lot of ignorance fueled by the media, like that's like economic bonanza, that you make touristic rental, you become rich. Um, but people are aware there is possibility exists, um, and there are a lot of people just selling courses on how to do it, and that means that's usually it's a sector where you can. It's really hard to make money because if somebody has a recipe to make money, he will do it, not sell the recipe most of the time. Um, and it really is a job as any other. There are opportunities, there are difficulties, hindrances, and it can be a good investment if you know what you're doing. And especially choosing the right market, choosing the right people to work with. There are a lot of people just starting out and making everything wrong. Um, Here, I presume also in other places where the legislative part is hard. If you just start, you make a lot of mistakes that will come back later on. And I think also it's really market dependent. As here in Trieste, for example, we had a decline in values per night in the last 3 years. And it's really a factor of demand and offer as any other market. After COVID, everybody wanted to travel. There was a huge demand. So people used to get any accommodation they could